going on, everybody? Behind the Brand, episode 6. We're way behind on this one. The guy usually standing behind the camera right now, Ryan, went to take another position somewhere. So Ryan, I know you'll be editing this. I wish you the best. Thanks for everything you did for Raceseng, and hopefully we can work together again in the future. So for this episode, guys, I want to do something different. You've been seeing tracking progress of what we've been working on for a couple weeks now. And you're probably seeing like 6 projects running in a row on where are we at. So for this Behind the Brand episode, I want to bring you guys up to speed on what we have going on. Let's check it out. All right, guys, you're all probably wondering where we at with lug nuts. I wish we were further along, but this is the state of where we're at. So this is a production sample that I have in, and what we're doing with this over the past couple weeks is testing it. So instead of putting this on a car to start, what I do is I'll machine a little mock-up fixture. So what you're seeing here is a steel part that we machined, and then we put a bolt into, put some grease on it, put a 60-degree conical taper into it, and we literally run our lug nut on and off repeatedly. So what we're doing is we're checking for elongation, thread pull out, thread wear, anything that'll tell us a sign of a bad design. So this thing actually just simply gets put in here. We also put our seat in. So we're gonna make seats for these. So these are all gonna come in 6-degree conical or tapered seats. We make a seat that has an R13, R14, or even an R60 for guys that want this to act like a washer. And we put this in here. We put grease and everything just to mock up the actual scenario. And then we would tighten this on and off. So the first step of the process was we really wanted to check how our tool is going to do as well. So this is our own socket tool that only fits our lug nut. It's pretty cool, pretty slick design. It has a 1/2-inch drive on the top of it too. Put this on, we torque it to 90 foot-pounds. We did that 100 times. And we would check intervals of wear every 5 times. So we would torque it 5 times, untighten it, and we would check at that point. And I'm quite pleased. I'm pretty stoked to see that this thing held up incredibly well and wanted to take it to the next step. Well, that's where we used an impact gun on it. So you're not supposed to do that, but I want to torture test this stuff to as much as we can. So we did the same process, but we went to 130 foot-pounds 100 times. And I'm really incredibly pleased at how well this thing held up. We're well beyond the life cycle of the lug nut at this point, but one of the most important things is checking this fit. You can see that we did get a little bit of deformation at the top of the opening there, but for how much abuse this thing took, it's pretty impressive. So this was pretty good. I'll take it as a positive sign. We're gonna move forward with here. We're doing a small pilot production run right now. All right, so we finished with the testing, and then this was our first shot at some finishing. So what you're seeing here is rainbow PVD with some laser engraving on the ring. So this part here, I intentionally have this groove in it, and that's where I wanted to tuck this laser engraving pattern. So PVD is a really unique process, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that really cool burnt titanium look, and then have the laser engraving be white. Not content yet with the coloring on this or the laser engraving, so we're moving to a round 2, but whole point is that we're moving forward. This stuff, it takes vendor communications and finishing and me learning how does PVD coat parts and how does laser engraving work when you cut it through PVD in the titanium. Just doesn't happen overnight. It's a big learning process to get through this stuff. I think we're on track with another vendor that can do PVD for us, and we might actually have to polish the outside surface to get that rainbow really vibrant. And then I also want to work on the fact of how this bore looks in here. We might glass bead down in there first, then polish the exterior, then laser engrave, and at that point, I think we're gonna have a pretty cool looking lug nut. All right, guys, everybody's been waiting on the long-awaited tow hook straps. So these are in production. We're really close. We're doing one more sample because the designer and me had to make some other changes as usual, but I wanted to make sure that they put the R logo with the Raceseng side, and that was just driving me nuts to see that we intentionally have the opposite, both sets of our icons on the strap, and I want them to be facing the right way. So our logo is now on Raceseng side. I also was just kind of frustrated / annoyed at how these little edges pull up. So I had them CNC cut these now, and they're actually just have a little bit of a radius on them. They look a lot better. And this seam was driving me nuts. You just have to sometimes think, it doesn't have to be that way. Why don't you just put it somewhere else? So what I did is we actually are having them tuck that seam inside of the loop section, so you're not gonna see it anymore. And on this one, they're simply gonna shift it to up here so that when this is sticking out of your car, you're gonna see this ugly sealed seam hanging out, that it's just up on here. Little nuances. Hopefully that make Raceseng different than a lot of other brands out there. But these are in production with our manufacturing partner. Release date next quarter, hopefully, we'll see. Last but not least, probably something everybody's been waiting for. We finally come up with a name with it for the series and name for the two knobs. I'm gonna go grab them quick, I'll be right back. This was really fun. We're almost there with these. Right now we're going through finishing options. All these are getting brush finished, so there's a whole production run of these parts right now that we're hand brush finishing these things, and really stoked. We're struggling through what kind of colors we offer, if we offer colors or not. To me, this brush finish is really, really nice. I'm thinking a red translucent on it and a brushed. The custom shop will always have the translucent colors. But when you put a translucent over this, it sort of morphs this thing into a whole new finish, because all these little diamond cuts and features just literally pop off of the knob. They look really cool. One detail that I did do on this was, you notice the cutout here has Raceseng in the middle of it. So I turned some of the instances of the array off, which by the way is the series name, and created a little node in here for the Raceseng to go in. I just love seeing an integrated thought put like that into the design, where before I had these diamond patterns going all the way around, and we were playing around with where to put a logo up here, and it just wasn't working. I felt like I was sort of forcing it onto the design. That's not forced, that's cool, I'll take that. So these are called the Array series. Why that name? Well, in SolidWorks, I do one of these cuts and I array it around the knob. So the logic is that we can extend this series into other types of cuts, other materials as well. And it just so happens that these are gonna be the diamond cut pattern, and this is called the Regalia. This guy's called the Scepter. So coming soon, release date, I'm hoping really soon, where you got more powder coat samples coming. Next quarter, we should be able to release these. I know this is gonna be an exciting release for everybody out there, but we're close, guys. That's it for this episode of Behind the Brand. Next week, we're gonna dive into a splitter rod project that we're working on, and we're trying to figure out how we make them uniquely better. Easier said than done. Until then, enjoy the drive, guys.